Yo, what's up guys? This is a tutorial on Heihachi. Today we're going to talk about some key moves for Heihachi and the game plan around his moveset. So quickly before we go into his moveset, I'm going to talk about Heihachi as a character. Heihachi is a very defensive character, which you need great movement and spacing with. He is a high damage character, which needs a lot of execution. You can do something like this. He does a lot of damage without roll. He has great punishments, so if you're gonna learn Heihachi, you gotta be patient and really work on your fundamentals. So let's talk about some of his key moves. In my opinion, one of the best moves Heihachi has is his back four. On normal hit, it knocks down, forcing your opponent to take a mix-up. And on counter, it's a launcher, which does a lot of damage. So my approach with Heihachi is a semi-aggressive while playing defensive. I really like using his down 4-1-1, down 4-1-2, back 4, electrics, while standing 4, which you can access with wave dash. 4-4-3. 4-4-2 is good, but I wouldn't use it too much because it doesn't track as much as it used to and you can punish it. So everybody knows Heihachi has great mids, which makes people scared to duck him. Some great players try to duck and punish with your electrics because it's a high. If you get to read on that, you can really punish them with back 4. Another thing with Heihachi is he really needs his electrics. He really depends on them. So if you're gonna play Heihachi, you gotta have really good execution. You use the electric as a keep out. You can also use them as a rushdown tool. Because if you wave dash into them, it will track a whole lot. And it will make your opponent scared to sidestep. Now, let's talk about his new moves. His stance. This stance is really great and has great options, but can be countered. He has a throw. 1-1. Which is a heat against you. It's a mid electric, which is slow, but still good, but you can punish it. He can go into his up 3-4 by just pressing 3-4. And by pressing 4 in the stance, you have a low. You also have a homing power crush. You can access this stance with a few moves as well. You can do 1-2-2 down. You can do 1 back 2 down into stance. You can do forward 4 down. You go into the stance. Now, let's talk about his other stance. Forward 3+4. This stance is okay, but can be quite underwhelming and easy to counter. He has an unbreakable high, which counter hit launches. On block, this move gets a guaranteed 1-1-2. He gives access to Omen, which can be punished as well. He has a safe mid that hits grounded, and he has a unbreakable throw. So my take on the character is just movement, honestly. You want to move around with the character. You want to step an opponent and electric. You want to backdash and make your opponent whiff and punish. He's a character that greatly rewards good fundamentals and defense, because his punishment is so strong. Another great move is his forward 3. You can also go into stance with 4-3 by just holding down. If 4-3 lands, you get a guaranteed 1-1. Like that, which is a heat against you again. Now, let's talk about his heat. Every time you go into heat, you get 1 token. It's really important to use his heat every round, because you want to get 3 tokens to go into his ultimate Heihachi form, which we're going to talk about later. His heat is decent. I wouldn't say it's something crazy. Some of his moves get buffed, like his down 3. His down 3 gets a guarantee fold up, which uses heat. His up 4 gets another buff in his heat. I wouldn't really recommend using this homing move, even though it knocks down and you get the guaranteed 4-4-2. The thing about this move is your opponent can clip you with a jab in the air So it's pretty risky to use in my opinion. But if you have the read and the opponent is gonna step, you can do it quickly and get a guaranteed 4-4-2. Now, another great move with Heihachi is his while standing 4. This move you can access with Wave Dash into 4-4 or CD4. This move is really important for Heihachi. So on hit is +8. So if your opponent tries to do anything or even jab, you're gonna get a free electric like this. Now let's talk about some moves you can go into this 4-3+4 stance. Down 1-2 forward goes into this stance. Side step 2 forward goes into this stance. Back fully charged up forward goes into this stance. And these are all the moves. Now some downsides with Heihachi is that he's very steppable. His move doesn't track at all. And the moves that he has that's homing isn't really great and very easy to counter. He's locked behind execution, which makes many people not want to play him. And you really gotta commit when you're playing Heihachi. All of his moves are very committable. Like, if you whiff any of these moves, you're gonna get launched. Like, you're gonna die if you whiff this. Now let's talk about his mix-up. Heihachi has great mix-up. Wave dash into 4-4-3. You can do wave dash into hell swoop, but it's risky again. You can do stance mix-ups. Now let's talk about his move up 3-4. It's a great tool. It's a launcher. It's safe on block. It's +4. And it does decent amount of ship damage. But this move is very steppable. You can beat every option Heihachi has with just sidestepping right. Now let's talk about his ultimate form. You go into this stance by doing 1+4. And when you go into ultimate Heihachi, his damage is greatly increased. And many of his attacks gets buffed. In ultimate Heihachi is 1+2, gets a 4-4-3. Guaranteed, a lot of damage. His down forward 2-1 is a launcher now, but you can't bound with it. Does decent amount of damage for being a 12 frame launcher. By what I mean by 12 frame launcher is this, forward 1+2. If that lands, you get a guaranteed down 2-1. In this version of Heihachi, Ultimate Heihachi, his greatest weakness is now not a weakness anymore. His hell sweep is safe on block. He has a unseeable safe on block low, which is really great to use. So when you're ultimate Heihachi, I really recommend throwing hell sweeps out. And you can mix up with 4-4-2, you can mix up with 4-4-3, and it does a ton of damage, and you can play many mind games using stance and a lot of good tools. So you can really pressure your opponents when you're in ultimate Heihachi. So you see 81 damage from a hell sweep is pretty crazy. In ultimate Heihachi is 1-1-2, also knocks back a shit ton. Now let's talk about Heihachi when he's at the wall. Heihachi at the wall is really crazy, because his 1-1-2 is a wall splat. You get a full combo here on him. 1+2 is a splat. If the second hit of down forward 4-2 lands, it's a wall splat. Stance 1-1 is a wall splat. And at the wall you can apply a lot of stance mix-up. Like this. You do like this. This is risky and wall splats, but it's nice to mix things up. Now at the wall, let's talk about the setup Heihachi has. Let's say you do something like this. Now, if your opponent wants to stay on the ground, it's really gotta hurt for them, because your down 4-2 is a guaranteed hit if they stand on the ground, and it does a ton of damage. If they get up, it's safe on block, but I always recommend sidestepping before you do it, because if they tech roll, they can cut you back turn. So yeah, I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and take care, guys.